Okay, good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your patience. And sorry, we are speaking again about history. But we are in Italy, and you cannot escape from history, from Sicily to the Alps. So I will try to give you an image again of the history of the San Paolo company, but giving only short sketches, some flashes, just to underline and to highlight the major event in the history of the company, which, as Mr. Profumo reminded us a few minutes ago, is more than 500 years long. So very quickly, and I promise, Mr. Chairman, to remain strictly in my 10 minutes period. Together with my colleague, Professor Claudio Bermond, who is sitting here in the floor, we have decided to divide our presentation into two different periods. The first one from the company foundation in 1563, up to the Napoleonic era at the end of the 18th century, when the company set up its structure, its organization, and was able to register a notable assets increase. But the company always dealt with charity, with distribution of alms, with assistance to poor people, and mainly to younger in need. In the second period, we shall see later on, from the Napoleonic era to nowadays, the company still continued to be a charitable work, but it was able to gradually develop and to be flanked by a saving bank system and from a true bank system. So two different periods. But now, just give a glance to some nice, I hope, figure. We have screened this figure, which is opening the front page of the pawn shop book, which was established, as you see, in 1579. Very nice one. But what I want to tell you is the book is gathering all the report of the meetings from the far 16th century. And this is a mine of information, either from a financial point of view, from a political, and from an organizational point of view. And Claudio and myself, we strictly believe that the history of the pawn shop inside the company of San Paolo should be more investigated, because maybe it is a real backbone of the history of the company. And going on, one more figure. This is a front page of a book written by the most famous historian, Emanuele Tesauro, to celebrate nearly 100 of life of the company. And this demonstrates that mid-17th century, the company was well known and was celebrated by an entire book. But going on, this figure is not easily readable. Just listen me why I have screened it. Because the big growth of assets, the big organization system, the big accounting system came in the 18th century. Why? At that time, the pawn shop of the company of San Paolo was in charge to manage the entire public debt of Piedmont. And the most important people from the aristocracy of Turin, from the business class, from the merchant, and even from the court, they joined the company as a confrère. So the company was very popular, and starting from the 18th century, gift and donation increased more and more. Gift, donation, legacies, inheritances. And the company had to reshape its booking system and to adopt new technique. Not yet the double entry technique, but see this figure. This is a resume, an historical statistic. This is important of the figures. An historical statistic over the period of 25 years, telling how well and how fine the capital received as inheritance were managed, and how much they were able to earn from capitals. The company was really capable to get trust from top people in Torino. But now the great change happened in the following century during the Napoleonic period. From the eves of the 19th century, big changes happened within the company. The company still continued to work in the charity field, of course, but then the house of educating girls was very, very famous in Turin, appreciated. But the charitable activities was now flanked by a bank activity, step by step increased, which step by step increased. First of all, the new pawn shop required market interest. Before, the interest was very low, and the loans were nearly free. According to the French system, we, under a financial point of view, followed liberal policies, at least under the economic aspect. The company now lost its private physiognomy in 1853, under the Cavour, Italian Cavour, Prime Minister of Piedmont. It became a nationalized institution with the main task to improve the pawn shop activities. Later on, the pawn shop became also a saving bank. This is another step of our history. Why? When the important Banca Agricola Italiana was near bankruptcy, it was a big bank, very active in Piedmont and in Lombardy, and the San Paolo pawn shop merged with it. As a matter of fact, the new Istituto Bancario San Paolo di Torino was created now, and it was, this is very important to underline, it was one of the 6 public law credit institutes which were then active in Italy, playing an important role in the Italian banking panorama. Some figures. Give a look to the journal, beginning of the 19th century. It was written in the French way, and what is interesting to notice here is they adopted an accountancy with 3 currencies, 3 coins, in gold, in silver, and in copper, or in bullion, with different, a very complicated rate of exchanges among all the 3 currencies. So poor cash of the time. And later on, after the Italian unification, here is a ledger from the pawn shop again. Accountancy here is strictly kept in double entry. It's double entry. And it's interesting to note that at that time, the cashier was personally responsible for the money in cash, exactly as it was 200 years before. Now I'm just going to end this presentation. The final figure shows you an inventory in 1939. Italy is not yet in war. The figure is very nice, and at that time, the San Paolo Bank of Torino had to follow the Commerce Code, which still was the same of the Code of 1882. And in the code were documented all the books and other administrative papers to be compulsory kept for such bank. And finally, we came to nowadays, to our time, 1990, the Compagnia of San Paolo was re-established and kept 100% of the San Paolo Bank of Torino. And finally, a few years ago, the Banca San Paolo Torino merged with the Banca Intesa, and they formed one of the most relevant banking group actually in Italy. Thank you very much.